I went to college with my wife at San Diego State. Obviously, we got married, had a baby, and just became too much. So we moved back to Northern California to be with family. And my job was to essentially take care of our baby and go to college. And so my mother took care of the baby. I had college and I had golf on the side. And playing golf lasted about two credit card statements. So that was a short-lived career. Outside of that, I got a 2-month internship at CB Richard Ellis, working exclusively for the Palmer team, who was and still is one of the largest institutional brokers in the world. When I was with Palmer, it was basically a data entry job that was, again, 2 months. I exceeded all their KPIs on data research, file processing, et cetera. And at the end of the 2 months, he basically gave me an opportunity to remain there until I graduated college. I had roughly 2 years to go. And so I just started following their schedule. They work institutional hours, so 5 a.m. to 7 p.m. Essentially, I came in at the time they came in at, and then during the day, I'd go to school and come back. So we did institutional sales. And really what grabbed me working in commercial real estate was one, that was, first of all, a college kid, dealing with high net worth individuals that were worth 50 million to several billion. And we were working on a variety of assets. Our average asset size was between 30 to 60 million transaction size. While I was on that team for those 2 years, we did several portfolio sales where we sold some assets for JPMorgan and US Bank. The JPMorgan portfolio was a really exciting one because it was tech properties where the tenants were basically paying rent with stock options. And then the US Bank portfolio was just a number of assets. So I got to work on both of those portfolios. That first year that I was with Palmer, we did 500 million in gross sales. And then the second year we did 750 million. But out of those two transactions, I learned a tremendous amount. We sold the US Bank Corp Tower in Portland, Oregon for US Bank. That was a $200 million sale. And then the JP Morgan portfolio was about 125 million in two states, but mostly in the Bay Area. So that's really what captured me, was complex transactions, institutional investors, institutional strategies and investment strategies, and very large trophy assets. So that's what really made it exciting. This started right around 1998. I worked on the Palmer team for 2 years. And then after that, my wife wanted me to have more of a traditional schedule. So I left the team and I took a position in the CBRE office in Stockton, California. And that's where I learned to do office leasing. I did that for 4 years. Then I launched the retail division shortly after that. So on year 7, I launched the retail division in the CBRE office in Stockton. And I did that until the 2009 market crash. The company's culture and values had changed dramatically. They were focused on their shareholders and not the clients. So at that point is when I went off and started our brokerage company, which was Northgate Commercial. And since then, we've been operating as Northgate Commercial. I started in that world, and that's really where we're heading with Calturas Capital and even Northgate Commercial. So what I found very interesting working with Palmer Capital was that we worked under two principles. The number one principle was that everything was data driven. Data driven meaning we work on facts. We process data through our CRM, which is our database, and process data through our underwriting tools and everything else. It's all facts-based, data-driven. The second thing is discipline. We had a team strategy and structure. At that time, there was probably about 16 people that were on the team. Within about 5 months, I moved up from being just a data person, finding phone numbers and contacts, to being on the front line and literally sitting 2 seats away from Bill Palmer, the principal. Talk about stress. Here I was, just a college kid, talking to high net worth individuals about buying properties, and then just that boiler room environment. And so what made it exciting was that we didn't have to learn every aspect of the transaction. We had team members that focus on specific aspects. So because I loved working on computers and I really enjoyed learning, they started me through a faceted and multi-phase development strategy. So I ended up learning database management and how to find and pursue prospects, to writing various parts of our proposals, our offer memorandums, from city profiles to tenant and business profiles. And then I jumped into underwriting assets, everything from static valuations to running 10-year Argus cash flow models with debt service and IRRs, et cetera. So I really learned how to look at everything as an investment and really to pull data and analyze the asset to determine its risk profile, and then basically be able to message to the client why we believed in the asset and what was the most important features of the asset. So it was just really a fun environment because I didn't have to take anything from start to finish, but I was allowed to grow and develop in a way where it was very methodical. And by the time I learned all modules of the proposal and brochure process, I could speak to just about any asset.